Yes, sir. We back with another one. Jay Marvelous. Shout out Jay Marvelous. Lee Thompson Young. I know y'all remember, bro. When you see him, you're going to remember, bro. Let's get into it. What happened, man?
Columbia-born actor Lee Thompson Young found fame at a young age. He made his mark as an actor, starring in primetime TV, movies, and commercials. But tonight, his last television appearance airs on TNT, one that was filmed before he tragically took his own life last year. Tonight, for the first time, his family breaks their silence and talks with WIS about the actor's struggles with mental illness. PJ Rendower reports.
1994.
This is the place where his life started.
Velma Love was busy raising her youngest child, her natural-born entertainer, Lee Thompson Young.
Well, he would just kind of seek out wherever he could get an audience, and he would perform. He would tell stories, he would do poetry, he would do speeches.
For any other child, it might have been just a phase, but Lee took his passion for performance into his own hands.
The next thing he asked, could he have some business cards made? And I said, well, what would it say? He said, well, it would say Lee Thompson Young, actor, poems, stories, and speeches. He would just hand out cards and said, you know, get in touch with me and I can come and do stories. And people did.
At age 12, Lee persuaded his mother to move to New York, where he was quickly signed by a talent agent.
I remember being in a meeting when I got the phone call about the Big Mac, and I jumped up. You know, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. No, Dad.
Here was my little brother accomplishing one of his goals in the time frame that he set, and me being the planner, I was just like, I taught him that.
Lee's commercial spots would eventually land him to his biggest starring role in the famous Jett Jackson. But there were still some things he couldn't predict or control.
In his late teenage
That's
years,
Jett Jackson, bro.
he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I noticed some periods of sadness, and that stabilized quickly.
He would sometimes call me and, you know, say he was feeling a little sad, but again, it was always a quick, you know, recovery.
But with medication and therapy, Lee continued on his road to success. The roles got bigger. By 29, Lee was a regular on another popular TV show. In August of 2013, something changed.
After we learned that Lee had been found dead in his apartment due to a self-inflicted gunshot wound, we of course were stunned. I guess, you know, that's the question that everyone would ask, and we really don't know those answers, and there's no way to know.
All right, peace, y'all. Peace, peace, peace. So, this story is a little creepy.
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. Some of y'all know, like, this might be one of the creepiest videos that I ever did. But I'm gonna be talking about Lee Thomas Young. All right, some of y'all may know him as Jett Jackson. Some of y'all may know him from other TV shows, right? But his situation was a little eerie, okay? And I'm going to share this with y'all. Now, like I always say, when I do these type of videos, I'm going to be respectful to the relatives of Lee Thomas Young. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure they're going to see this video. You know what I mean? Anything that has his name in it, I'm pretty sure they're going to see this. And his parents are still alive. So I'm going to just be very respectful when I do this. All right? But this is some really creepy stuff. And like I always tell y'all, like, you know, I do these type of videos to kind of steer people away from going down that Hollywood path, right? Because it's very dark and demonic. And some people, you know, they still want to do. And if you do want to pursue your dreams, just stay prayed up. That's all I could tell you. Now, Lee Thomas Young was born February 1st, 1984 in South Carolina, Columbia to be exact, right? Now, his mother was actually a philanthropist in college. all right? And she wrote a few books and everything like that. You know, she was a college professor. You know, she had a few things up under her belt. Now, his father, on the other hand, you know, like I always say, these people are tied into Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Now, his father actually was in the industry, all right? And knew a lot of these Hollywood people. So that's why I'll be talking about nepotism, right? Now, he attended California State University, all right, and basically got his bachelor's in art and theater. All right. Now, he had relationships with a lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of actors, which would make sense in how his son got such an opportunity at a young age. Right. Now, fast forward to 1996, when, you know, he basically moved to New York and instantly got into the industry. All right. He got into a McDonald's commercial, I believe. And then from there, he went on to audition to be in the television show Jett Jackson. Now, when I say nepotism, a lot of favoritism comes into play too. You know, these are all business relationships. You know what I'm saying? When they get their children in the industry at a young age. Now, we all know him to play as Jett Jackson on Nickelodeon.
You know, a lot of people think that if you're an actor, you play on a hit TV series, a lot of action, a lot of stunts, then in real life you must be a quiet and reserved person, relaxed. Don't try this at home. Yeah, don't get much better than this. Hey, I'm Lee Thompson Young from the famous Jett Jackson. Catch me, only on Disney Channel.
Now, his mother, you know, spoke about this as well. Like, if y'all paid attention in that news clip, she mentioned that around this time, she started to notice that he was giving signs of being, you know, bipolar. And I did a video about this on, you know, on my Patreon, and I spoke about how a lot of these child star actors, it happens to them because of the simple fact of mood changing. You gotta smile when you're not happy. You know what I'm saying? Cry when you're not sad. So that plays a toll on a child's mental at a young age. All right, but we're gonna fast forward to the creepy part of this whole situation. Now, many of us know that Lee Thomas Young played in a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, you know what I'm saying? So many to name. But I found this to be very creepy. Now, he was in a television show called Flash Forward, all right? And he starred in that show alongside of this guy here. Now, some of y'all may know who this guy is, and his name is John Cho, right? And he plays in Harold and Kumar, a couple movies. He was in a couple movies. But I'm going to play this clip, right? And we're going to dissect why Hollywood is a creepy place.
Lee Thompson Young in the studio with us today. It's an interesting character you play, Lee.
Oh, indeed, indeed. He has a conflict, a deep internal conflict in that he's a homicide detective. He deals with dead bodies all the time, but when he sees a corpse, he throws up.
Now, what attracted you to this role in particular?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a funny story. I was playing an FBI agent on a show called Flash Forward on ABC.
I loved Flash Forward.
Yeah.
I was sorry to see it go.
It was great. I had so much fun. And my character actually died in the show, so you know I was out after 7 episodes. But and right before I was done with my run on the show, I was working with John Cho in the morgue, and he said to me, he was, you know, these scenes can be so dry and so stale. It's like everybody's seen it all before. He was like, wouldn't it be interesting to do something different? Like, I don't know, like let's say your character even got sick or something when you see the body. This is like 2 weeks before I get the audition for Rizzoli and Isles. So I read the script and I got really, really excited about it because it is interesting and it's different. And, you know, he's vulnerable, but he also is a good detective. But I didn't tell John about it because it was a little too weird, too much of a coincidence. And then I finally got the role, and I called him and told him he was psychic.
And
now, why is that story so important? Right? Because when he played in the TV show Flash Forward, I found something real eerie about this. Now, he played as the person or the FBI detective Al Go, right? Now, I want y'all to pay very close attention to this and remember what he said about John Cho and him studying or, you know, doing certain things in the morgue. Like, why y'all in the morgue? Not to mention that his name was Al Go. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to be a sacrifice? I'll go. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to this, right? This is one of the episodes in that TV show, Flash Forward, right? This is what happened in one of the episodes. It says, later on, Al, who is basically Lee Thomas Young, right? His character is Al. Dimitri and Mark attend a Blue Hand meeting where they pretend to be ghosts. That's a red flag right there. Al risked his own life playing Russian roulette with Romanchuk. Now, this is all crazy right here. When Demetrius asked what was he playing at, Al replied that he had seen himself alive in 6 months' time, which meant he wasn't going to die that night. After they broke cover and captured Reynard Jeff Singleton, Al carefully listened to what Jeff said about not being able to change the future. That night, Al thought about what had happened and realized that there was a way to change the future. How did he do that? He wrote a suicide note and left it with Dimitri the following day. Now, I find this all to be crazy that this would be involved in the script, okay, previously before he passed. And I also wanted to add that, you know, he was part of a fraternity as well. All right, he was down with the get down too. So, you know, he knew the ropes. You know what I'm saying? So he can't act like he was all innocent. He knew the ropes. All right? Now, in that TV show, Flash Forward, you know, he unalived himself by jumping off a roof. You know what I'm saying? But everything is symbolic with these Hollywood people. Everything is ritualistic. You understand? Because it's all an illusion anyway. It's all magic. So this young man, in my defense, this young man, nothing was really wrong with this young man. You know, this is what Hollywood does. They'll send you to one of their doctors and say, yeah, you need this. You need this. He probably saw some crazy stuff. Who's to say he didn't see some crazy stuff down there with John Cho, this dude doing to these corpses or whatever, and it freaked him out. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he's in that world, so he just brush it off. You know what I mean? Just brush it off. Like, oh, I ain't getting down with that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you never know what goes on behind the scenes. But I do these videos to keep people aware about stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we must be aware that Hollywood plays on the innocence. Okay? They value people that are green and naive. You know what I mean? So, you know, rest in peace to Lee Thomas Young, man. You know, it's just sad, man, like how these people do certain things. And Hollywood is very sneaky. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood is very sneaky, man. So with that being said, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And I'm going to get to some more content for y'all. All right? Peace.
That was a decent little video, man. Shout out Jay Marvelous, bro. Appreciate you made our way to the end of the video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what y'all think, man.
Cushy, I love it. Hey, cushy, I love to use it. It's therapeutic, flow sick. Be throwing up. It's therapeutic, Glock 6 with extra clip. I'm very suited, money getting.